Did you know about this secret teleport ability that gets you into another dimension? And did you know about this sword that's literally the most overpowered in the whole game? These are the rarest things that you won't find in Blox fruits. The very first thing that I got here, we're starting off with something light, and that is God Human. In my opinion, the most difficult fighting style anybody can obtain in the whole game. And the reason for that, well, you're gonna hear it in a second. First of all, you need a 400 mastery on Superhuman, and guess what? To even get Superhuman, you need a 300 mastery on Dark Step, Electric, Water Kung Fu, and Dragon's Breath. And you also need to pay 3 million belly on top of that. And not to mention the amount of money you have to pay for the other fighting styles. And once you have Superhuman, you need a 400 mastery on Death Step, which is the upgraded version of Dark Step, Electric Claw, which is the upgraded version of Electric, Sharkman Karate, and Dragon Tail on all of 400 mastery. On top of that, you need to pay the teacher 5 million belly as well as 5,000 fragments. And if that wasn't enough, you also need 10 dragon scales, 20 fish tails, 10 mystic droplets, and 20 magma ore. Damn, that's the reason this is the hardest fighting style anybody can get. But I can't lie, this fighting style is definitely worth it, only if you're an endgame player. And this is the best fighting style in the game, no questions asked, for grinding as well as PvP. This fighting style literally does 2,600 damage with each hit. The Z ability does 4,400 to 5,400 damage. The X ability does 4,200 to 6,300 damage. And the C ability does 4,700 to 5,800 damage. Pros of this fighting style is that it's very hard to miss your moves at point blank range. It's also known for its amazing combo potential, and obviously its high damage. But the cons are, obviously, it is literally near impossible to obtain. And if you're watching this and you have this fighting style unlocked, count yourself very lucky. Or very skilled, I guess.
Okay.
Anyways, moving on, the next item I'm going to be talking about is the Kitsune fruit. This is the fruit equivalent of God Human. Not many people have this, and it's the best fruit in the whole game, at least when it comes to PvP. The Kitsune is a mythical type beast fruit that literally costs 8 million belly or 4,000 Robux from the Blox Fruits dealer. You can also get it with a significantly low chance by offering Azure Embers to the Kitsune Shrine in the 3rd sea. This fruit was released in December 15, 2023, a little bit after update 20. The very first move is called a Cursed Enchantment, and you just kind of shoot out a bunch of small projectiles that damage your enemy. Next up, we got Tales of Burning Agony, and for this one, you just crisscross and hit your enemy with a pretty powerful projectile. Then we got Foxfire Disruption, and this is the biggest projectile by far. You kind of shoot out a blue firebomb, and it just does a lot of damage. Next up, we got the Transformation ability, and for this one, you turn into a full-out Kitsune. We just look at how cool you look. Then we got the F ability, which is Wind Assault, and this is like a movement ability mixed in with a damage ability, kind of like the Leopard fruit. And overall, this fruit is just incredibly overpowered, and when you're transformed, you even have the passive ability to walk on water. Damn, there's just not many fruits that are better than this. I think Leopard and Door are the only ones that get close. Next up, I'm getting into the swords equivalent of the previous two, and I'm obviously talking about the true triple katana. This is a mythical sword, and you buy it from an NPC called the Mysterious Man. It costs a total of 2 million belly, but not really. You'll see why in a second. To actually get this sword, you need to first locate the legendary sword dealer in the 2nd sea, and the only way you can find him is by talking to the manager. You need to buy the Sadi, Shisui, and Wado sword, which each cost 2 million belly. Once you do that, you need to get a 300 mastery on each of the swords and head all the way to the green zone and then buy it from the Mysterious Man. So technically, if you combine the prize pool, it's literally 8 million belly that you need to pay for this one sword. The very first ability of this sword is called Wolf Fang Rush. You dash straight into your enemy and hit them with a powerful slash. Then we got Dragon Hurricane, and you shoot out a huge projectile which looks oddly similar to one of the Kitsune's abilities. It also does 3,100 damage on average for each mouse click, and it's known to be overpowered because of its high damage. Moving on, we got the Leviathan Shield, and this is probably the hardest accessory that anyone can come across in the whole game. The only way to get this is by crafting it through the Beast Hunter NPC. And for that, you need 1 Mirror Fractal, 30 Leviathan Scales, 10 Electric Wings, and 20 Fool's Gold. And it gives you a 15% defense against melee, sword, and gun attacks, as well as a 30% defense against sea events, and a 90% protection against water damage. And on top of that, it gives you a whole 1,000 health. Damn, that is very, very overpowered. Moving on, I'm going to be telling you about a sword that's even more rare than the TTK. And I'm obviously talking about the Dark Blade. It is kind of paid to win, but that's the reason it's so rare. The only way you can get this is by paying a total of 1,200 Robux, but you can obviously get it if another player gifts it to you as well. The first ability of the sword is called 1,000 Slices, and this is what it looks like. It's just a huge ball of slashes. Then we got Dark Air Slash, which sends off 1 massive slash. And if you thought that was rare, wait till you hear about the Slayer skin for the Dark Blade. It doesn't increase the damage, but getting this skin can be a pain. In my opinion, I honestly prefer the normal green version. And the way you complete the puzzle is by obviously having the Dark Blade. Then you have to have the Angel, Rabbit, Shark, and Human races all at their V3 stages or above. Damn, that is a huge requirement. Then you need 2 Fists of Darkness, and preferably from Sea Beast and the other ones from Chest. And you can't have 2 of these in your inventory inventory at the same time, which means you need a friend to do this. Once you do that, you simply have to start the Darkbeard raid while another player is standing at the graveyard door with a fist of darkness. And then the door will open with a bright white light and a message will say a new slayer has been born. And boom, that's how you get the skin. And if you thought that Darkblade version was rare, just wait till you see this next one. The triple Darkblade. And the reason you haven't heard about this is, well, there's literally no way to get this unless you're friends with an admin. And just like the name states, it's not one, not two, but three whole Darkblades in one sword. It's like the true triple katana, but a lot more overpowered. And you can actually upgrade this if you do end up getting your hands on, which I doubt will happen. To upgrade it, you need a total of 25 dark fragments, 99 dragon scales, and 99 magma ore, and increases the damage by literally 5%. And if you're wondering what the abilities look like, they're just better versions of the ones before. Instead of sending out one dark air slash, you send out 3, which is extremely overpowered. Next up, I'm going to be telling you about one of the rarest bosses in the whole game. So I'm obviously talking about the Doking. The Doking is a level 2300 raid boss, and there's only one way to spawn this. You have to head over to one of the final islands in the 3rd sea, and you need a sweet chalice. And once you get that sweet chalice, you need to kill a butt ton of enemies on that island. That's how you open the portal. Once you do that, you just have to fight the guy. And once you kill this guy, he'll give you 6 whole levels, 1 mirror fractal, and the pale scarf. He also gives you around 2000 fragments and 50,000 belly, as well as the Doking title, so everyone knows you're a boss, as well as the red key, which lets you access better raids, and the legendary spiky trident, which is one of the best swords in the whole game. Anyways, moving on, I'm gonna be telling you about something that's rare, but not as rare as some of the things I already mentioned. And I'm obviously talking about the leopard fruit. Most of you guys should already know this. It's been in the game for quite a while now. It's a mythical type beast fruit, and it costs 5,000 belly or 3,000 robux from the Blox fruit dealer. And it obviously specializes in PvP. The first attack is a finger revolver, where you shoot out a bunch of bullets. Then we got the spiraling kick, which is just a wind kick. Then we got after image assault, where you just crash into your enemy. Then we got the transformation, which transforms you into a full body leopard. Next up, we got the movement ability, which is just a body flicker. You kind of just dash forward, and if there's an enemy in the way, you do a butt ton of damage to them. Next up, I'm going to be telling you about some pretty rare accessories. The first one we got here is called the Holiday Cloak, and you can only get this during Christmas events from the Santa Claus NPC. This gives you a 10% melee and blocks with damage increase, as well as 1 extra instinct dodge. The next Christmas accessory is the Santa Hat, and you get this in the exact same way. It increases your movement speed by 30% and increases your blocks fluid and sword damage by 12.5%, as well as your energy by 400 and your health by 400. Now, that's a crazy amount. If you're wondering how you get this, you can only get it during Christmas events, but you need to have 500 candy. Next up, I'm going to be telling you about some of the craziest and most secret admin abilities that you have definitely not heard of. The first one is the Kamura ability, and if you watch Naruto, you already know how this works. It basically lets a player teleport from one place to another. It's basically like the portal fruit, but a 10 times better version. The admins use this to teleport normal players into secret dimensions. Next up, we got the Pakistan dimension, which is a pretty random place. It's a special location, and it can be summoned using the Mangekyo. It basically just contains a forest with the Pakistan flag on top. Next, we got the Fuyu Gate. This is made solely for the Fuyu player, who is actually the owner of Grand Peace Online, and it basically allows them to summon a gate that lets them go anywhere they like. Next up, we got the Black Pillar ability, and this basically just sends out 30 plus black pillars, and it kind of looks like the old Flame Fruit Sea ability. But a pretty fun fact is that the Ripindra boss actually uses this while in his true form. Next up, we got Black Meteor, and this does exactly what it sounds like. It just summons a huge black meteor. Next up, we got the Sharingan, which is yet another ability from Naruto, and when the user activates it, everyone that looks at it will have their screen covered by the Sharingan, similar to the Kamui ability, but the Sharingan actually deals damage. Yet another ability that admins have is the power to summon sea beasts, but you don't see a lot of them using it. Next up, we got a pretty rare fighting style. I don't think this is as rare as God Human, but it's pretty difficult to get. That is the Sanguine Art fighting style. You can learn this from an NPC called Shappy, who can be found in a tunnel at Tiki Outpost. And the way you get it is by giving them a Leviathan's heart and by killing the Leviathan boss, which is something incredibly difficult to do. Once you do that, you have to get 20 demonic whiz, 20 vampire fangs, 2 dark fragments, and then you finally have to pay 5,000 belly with 5,000 fragments, and then boom, you obtain the fighting style. For the first ability of this fighting style, you basically just dash forward and deal a butt ton of damage to your enemy. Next up, we got Scarlet Tier, which is similar to a sword ability. You just shoot out 2 flying projectiles. Then we got Devourer of Worlds, and for this one, you kind of shoot out a leech out of your hand, which just kind of hits your enemy and does a lot of damage to them. This fighting style does do a lot of damage, but not as much as God Human. Next up, I'm going to be telling you about some of the rarest materials in the whole game. Everyone knows how materials work. They basically just let you upgrade stuff, and you also need them for quests. But I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys watching will not know about these materials. The first one is the Monster Magnet, and the way you get it is by crafting it using other materials. You need 2 Terror Shark Eyes, 8 Electric Wings, 20 Fool's Gold, and 10 Shark Teeth. And the purpose of crafting this is to get the Shark Tooth Necklace. Next up, we got Mirror Fractals, which, like I mentioned before, you can get by defeating the Doking. Then we got Leviathan Heart, which you get by killing the Leviathan. Next up, we got Dark Fragments, which is debatably one of the hardest ones to get, and guaranteed to have this dropped by killing Darkbeard. That also does help you with crafting for a butt ton of important accessories in the game. And that's pretty much it.